Len Erickson here with another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we've got a nice one today, a nice, quick, easy one to do. Unfortunately, in life, growing up, maturity brings plenty of problems, and one of those being acne, of course. I remember as growing up, I had terrible acne, and it was a psychological embarrassment a lot of times, and I know a lot of teens and young adults are very self-conscious of that, and they don't want their photos displaying their acne, and that's the number one requested touch-up in any photo is to clean up the complexion. And so let's go ahead and jump in. I'll show you how easy it is in Photoshop to actually work with the complexion and remove that acne, and so we'll just jump right in. Okay, so here we've got a nice photo, and yeah, we definitely have some acne issues here, but nothing we can't take care of. So the first thing I like to do is I always like to work non-destructively when I can. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a new layer so I can work on a blank layer, and this way if I have to undo anything for any reason, I can do so. This way I'm not touching the original. I'll select the spot healing brush, content aware, and because I'm not working on the actual layer, I want to select sample all layers. This way it'll work with all layers down below. And then I'm just going to simply start working the areas and brushing the areas that I need to. And again, as you can see, I can just simply draw and come in and work the areas, and Photoshop takes care of all the hard lifting for us. Come in here, and here we go, and Photoshop's doing a great job for us. Okay, so there we are. What was that, 10 seconds, and we have taken care of the major issues. Now, of course, we still have some issues we need to address here. If you look here on her left cheek here, just above the lip area, we've got some discoloration. We've got some tonality changes, a little bit in the forehead as well. It would be nice if we could turn around and take the textures and the tones and maybe blend these together a little bit, make them a little more cohesive in the thing. And it can't be any easier. For those of you that have seen my other videos, we're going to do frequency separation, and this is a perfect example on why we would do that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make a stamp layer of this. So I'm going to hit Command Shift E, and that's going to make a stamp layer, which is nothing more than combining the two images down below, and now I have a top stamp layer that represents the entire image. So now with that image selected, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that twice, and I'm going to do that by hitting Command J. Okay, so now I have 3 layers, all identical. I'm going to take the first layer and I'm going to relabel that color. Then I'm going to take the layer above that and I'm going to relabel it texture. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the texture layer off, and I'm going to work with the color layer here real quick. And I'm going to go up to Filter, Blur, and then Gaussian Blur. Okay, and so I'm going to pull this radius over here so we can see where we're starting with. Now remember, this is the color layer. So what I'm concerned about here is the colors, the skin tone, okay? I want to see the colors of the skin come together. So I move the slider and watch the results in the preview, and what I'm looking for is the skin to come together, okay? And as the skin comes together, the skin tones come together, right? Okay, there I've got a nice blending of the skin tones. They're really smoothing out, they're blending together. So I'm going to go ahead and stay with 31 here. And now I'm going to go up to the texture layer and turn it back on. And I'm going to go up to Image, Apply Image, and then I'm going to select the color layer, and I'm going to select a blending option of Subtract, okay, and then the scale of 2 and the offset of 128. These two numbers here for scale and offset, they will work on every image that is 8-bit color. Okay, and this is an 8-bit color. You can look right up here in the tab, and you can see it's RGB/8. That means it's an 8-bit color file. And most of the time, most of the files we're working with are 8-bit color. So if you're working with an 8-bit color, these numbers will work for you. So remember, a scale of 2 and an offset of 128, a blending mode of subtract. And if you look at what we have here what looks very, very similar to a high-pass filter, okay, like we would use in sharpening. In fact, there's a lot of similarities to what we're doing here in that regard. So now that we have this, we're going to change the blend mode of this layer to linear light. And there we go. Now it doesn't look like anything's changed, and that's because it hasn't. What we've done now is we've just separated the color and the texture, okay, on 2 different layers. So now that we can work with them independently. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with color. Okay, so I'm going to, I can turn off this or I can leave it on. It's your option. I want to work with the color layer, and I'm going to take the lasso tool, and I'm just going to make a really rough selection here, loop out an area. Okay, doesn't have to be exact. And I'm feather. I want to make a nice soft selection, so I am putting a feather, and here I'm using a feather of 30 pixels. Okay, and then I'm going to go filter, and then blur, and then Gaussian blur. All right, and what I'm doing is I'm going to look at the skin. Okay, because remember, we're on the color side, so I'm looking at the color, and I want the colors to come together of the skin. So I move the slider, look at the preview results, and I watch how things are coming in. Okay, and I'm looking to the area, and then we're starting to get a little difference there, and that's a little strong. Let's see. That's about blending together pretty well. Okay, again, not the texture. I'm only concerned about the color coming together. So now that I've done this, I deselect, and now I can continue and just making crude selections of large areas of the face. I can turn around and then hit Command F to repeat that blur. Okay, so again, use the lasso tool, come in, and then Command F to repeat the blur. If you forget what we're doing, you just come up to the filter and you could hit it up here. It'll always be Command F to repeat the blur. So Command D to deselect, and now I just come around these areas, and you can see here this blotchiness on the cheek. This has really been the part that's really bothering me. I come in and I select it, and Command F to repeat. All right, then Command D to deselect and do my selections, and Command F and Command D, and I continue this process wherever I feel I need some blending. Okay, Command F to do the fill, Command D, and I can just repeat this process until I'm happy with the blending of the skin tones. Remember, what we're doing here is we are working with the skin tones. Okay, so again, crude selections, and we're just coming in and blending the skin tones accordingly. Okay. Okay. All right, so that's enough there. I can come in now and select the texture area. Okay, and this allows me to fix any of the textures that maybe acne is caused, maybe some dark areas or sunken areas, or even maybe some raised areas that remain. And that can be done just by selecting the texture layer and then going back to the spot healing, and you can come in and just do that, and you can have the let me see, okay, content aware sample all layers was checked. See, that was the mistake. Uncheck that because I don't want it to check all sample layers. So now now I heal on just the gray layer that I am on the linear light. And I can come in, and this again, I am working on texture, not working on the color, see? So I'm not changing color, I'm only working on texture. And there I can go ahead and make any minor texture connections that I need to in the skin that distract from the picture. Okay? And then when I'm happy, okay, I have the thing. So now, let's show you how much of a difference we've made on this particular portrait. I'll hold the Option key to come back to the original. And you can see the acne and the blotchiness and the redness of the skin. And then where we came back, where everything is together. And the skin still remains its pores. It still looks natural. It still has texture. And we've just blended everything back together. Okay? So hopefully that helps you. And hopefully that'll get you started with working with clearing up complexions. A little bit of practice and you'll be off to the races with this. Okay, so this is Len Erickson signing off. Be sure and leave some comments down below. If you like these videos, be sure and hit the subscribe button. We do a new video each and every week. So if you like these videos, hit the subscribe so you get notified each and every week that we've got a new video out for you. Okay, so until next week, this is Len Erickson signing off. Take care.